The Stage 4 Major has come and gone, and it was phenomenal to see Call of Duty back on LAN. Welcome back to Unscripted, where today we are breaking down 5 players who overperformed and raised their stock the most at the Stage 4 Major, and as always, we are doing things off the script. If you enjoyed today's video, consider leaving a like down below to help support the channel. Leave a comment as well with your thoughts on the video and some guys who you think might have raised their stock the most at the Major, and subscribe to the channel as well if you want to see more videos like this one from me in the future. I appreciate all of that, and it does mean a lot to me. Now let's hop right into the top 5. Before we hop into the top 5, we have a few honorable mentions, so I want to shout out Vivid, and I want to shout out Slasher. I think Vivid played really well for Dallas, obviously helped them get into that top 2 placement that they got. I think coming into the event and sort of since they made the roster change, people were like, this team kind of got worse with Vivid in there instead of Hook. But then at the Major, I mean, Vivid was phenomenal. He played well. I mean, he didn't have like the best numbers, but he really did play well, made a lot of big plays for this team, and clearly showed that they can win with him in the lineup. That's their best placement since Stage 1, so surely he is capable of being on a winning team. So that was good to see for Vivid. And then Slasher, his numbers were actually really, really good. I think he had one of the highest KDs overall from the Major, but only played 1 series and it was a loss, so I didn't really want to throw him in here because they got, top 12, and that's nothing impressive, even though he was individually very good and showed that he should be in the starting lineup for sure. They just didn't have the team success, and it was only over 1 series against a pretty bad team in LAG, so I didn't include him in here, but definitely shout out to Slasher. He did play very well. And now let's hop into the top 5. Starting us off on your screen, we have Illy. So you see the numbers there. They're nothing crazy. I mean, they're good. They're solid. They're not insane, but they're better than he's been all year long. That's the big thing for Illy. I think he raised his stock personally, and also the team helped him raise his stock, because coming into this Major pretty much over the entire Stage 3 and then the Stage 4 group play, like the first 3 stages plus Stage 4 group play, Illy was probably one of the worst players in the CDL, and he was just getting cooked. Why is he keeping his spot? They make these changes, but they don't take Illy out. Why? He's terrible. And he was terrible, but he was not terrible this event. He had his moments. I mean, his KDs, they're nothing special, but this was a perfect example of, looking beyond the KD numbers, because he did play well. He made a lot of big plays for them across all 3 modes, especially Search and Destroy. I was really surprised to see his numbers were that low, because he played really well in Search. I thought, multiple clutches, multiple big moments, a 1v1, a 1v2, just off the top of my head right away, but I'm sure there was plenty more. He played phenomenal in Search. He is a Search and Destroy kid. I mean, if you want to call him a kid, but that's where he came up through, and now he's still playing well in Search again. So it was good to see for him to turn things around personally, and just also sort of like Vivid to show that the team is capable of winning with him in there, because it did not look good for them for a while. They were trending down, down, down in the really wrong direction. He was, he was the anchor pulling them down that way. But they turned it around. He turned it around some, so it's good to see for him get his stock out of the gutter, move it up a little bit, and definitely the team is, sort of follow the same path. So number 5, it's not really in super tight order, but number 5 we do have Illy. Number 4 we have Decimate. I think Decimate got a lot of hate coming into this tournament, maybe from me included. I think it was warranted. The way he handled the Surge situation was not pretty. It was not a good look for him in my opinion, but it must have been successful because he did get another shot before long and he played well. So New York, they only got top 6, which is unfortunate because they were probably a top 3 team coming in. And if they had ASIM, I think they probably would have gotten top 3 or 4 at worst. Instead, they got top 6. Decimate played well, though, and he had a lot on his plate. ASIM is a player who is very unique in what he does. The pressure he puts on the map, he always talks about being the route man, making the plays, being the playmaker. Decimate had to do all of that. ASIM was also their Search and Destroy shot caller. I'm sure Desi did not call the plays in Search, but he probably played a role in it, and he played well across all the modes. I mean, the KDs, they're all below a 1, but he did have a really big series against Florida. He had like a 1.2 in the Florida series. That was their only series win of the tournament, and he played phenomenal. He probably led them to victory in that game. I think it's safe to say without Decimate, they would not have beaten Florida. They would have gotten top 8 instead of top 6. They would have won 0 matches in the Major. But Decimate stepped up in that series. He played well. He played well throughout the entire tournament. So love him or hate him, I think he definitely raised his stock in this event. I think he showed he belongs in the league, and I think if he just sort of gets over that sort of stigma against his attitude or his ego with the way he handled the Seattle situation, I think it won't be long we will see him back in the league, because he showed he belongs. And even if the numbers weren't out of this world, he had a lot on his plate trying to replace ASIM, and he did about as good of a job as you could expect, pretty much finding out on like 4 days notice. So shout out to Decimate. He played really well, and he definitely boosted his stock at the Stage 4 Major. Number 3, we have Neptune. I think this could probably be number 1. Like I said, the order's not super specific, and he could probably be number 1. He was phenomenal for Florida. It's a shame they only got top 8 because he was playing like they should have gotten top 4. They're a really good team. I think they definitely underperformed. I thought they were going to overperform and made that video about it. They did not do that. They probably underperformed, but he didn't. He was phenomenal. Overall KD of 1.36, I think, was number 2 across the entire tournament. Hardpoint KD of 1.45 was in the top 5 for the whole tournament as well. Search and destroy and control positive there. I mean, this guy just made so many plays for his team. Even the match they lost to New York, he was playing phenomenal. He played great in the search. We had the big clutch. Unfortunately, it didn't matter in the end. They ultimately lost the express search and destroy, but he played great. His hard points were insane this stage. I mean, he had that one hard point. I forget who it was against. He was like triple positive for a while, and he finished well over double positive. I mean, he had like 38 kills. He was just so good. I don't know how else to say it. Neptune is a player who I have been very high on all season long. If you've been following my videos, I've just said a lot of good things about him. I think his talent is so obviously there. He's clearly skilled. He's going to keep learning the game. He is somewhat new to the game. I think when he really learns Call of Duty, and playing alongside of Havoc should probably help with that. But as he continues to learn the game, he's going to be even better. His movement is great. His gun skill is phenomenal. Versatile. He's very versatile. He can do a lot of stuff on the map for his team. And Neptune just overall very, very solid. He was probably a top 5 to 10 player for sure from this major. He was very good. He definitely raised his stock. I think he finally has eyes on him, rightfully so. He gets overlooked in the rookie conversation when there's Hydra and when there's Insight, but he is number 3 for me. I think he's past Standy in my opinion. He's been that good recently. Neptune most definitely trending in the right direction, and we'll see if Florida can get the team success to follow with his personal success. Number 2, we got Octane. The numbers here speak for themselves. 1.37 was, I believe, the highest from the major. 1.46 in hardpoint might have also been the highest. It was towards the top. 1.57 in search was like 3rd, and one of the guys only played one map. It was Paul X with a 2.0. Control 1.16. I mean, what can you say? Octane pretty much hard carried this team to top 8. That's the easiest way to put it. Without him, I'm sure they would have gotten top 12 and lost their first match against London. But he was carrying them. He played great against London. He played great against Paris. He even played well against Optic, even though they lost. He was a big reason for their almost reverse sweep. They went down 2-0, brought it back 2-2, but lost the Moscow Search, I think 6-3, maybe 6-4. But he was phenomenal throughout the entire event. I think you might say, well, it's kind of hard for him to raise his stock. He's already considered one of the top players. He really hasn't been. He's gotten a lot of flack this year. Not from me. I've been giving him credit for a while now, but people say he baits for kills. That's why his KD is so high. He doesn't really make plays. He doesn't have a positive impact on the map. He does not play winning Call of Duty. My response was, how can he play winning Call of Duty with a team around him who really is not fit to win many matches? He's been great. He's been slaying out of his mind for a while now. He started the year slow for sure, but stage 3 he was really good. Stage 4 he was even better. He is definitely trending in the right direction. Unfortunately, there's pretty much a 0% chance his team's going to make champs, which sucks for this setup this year because clearly they probably belong. They got top 8 at the first LAN event of the season. We'll see maybe in stage 5 they'll get returned back to Earth on LAN, but regardless, they look good. He looked really good. It's a shame for them they're not going to make champs, and it's really a shame for him because he clearly belongs. Even if his teammates don't belong at champs, I think everybody would agree Octane belongs at champs with the performance he had at the stage 4 major and really over stages 3 and 4. He's been really good. He's been frying. It's no surprise the guy with one of the best gun skills of all time is playing the way he is right now. But yeah, definitely Octane. I think he has been just great for the Surge. It's a shame they really can't support him the way he deserves. And finally, we have Shotz. I think you might not expect to see him here because his stock was already on the rise, but I think the stage 4 major finally cemented that. He, I think, is probably, when you talk about the best SMGs not included in the Tiny Tears, I think he might be at the top right now. He is just back in MVP form. He's the biggest reason. I think him and Krim are easily the biggest 2 reasons for Dallas' success at this major. But over the course of the entire stage, it was easily Shotz. He was without a doubt their MVP of the stage. Maybe just the major, you could argue Krim, but he's been good all stage long. You see the numbers on there from the major, positive in all 4 modes. He was just making so many plays. It seemed like just 2 pieces, 3 pieces. His movement was as good as ever, which is hard to say because his movement is always so good, but he looked phenomenal. Flying around the map, making plays, putting a lot of pressure in that phase series in the grand finals. He was right up there with the Tiny Tears. He was in their face, playing a very good Call of Duty. Him and Vivid are clearly a formidable SMG duo. I remember when they first formed, I said, yo, this duo might be the best duo in terms of their structure when it comes to matching with the Tiny Tears because they play fast just like the Tears do. If you want a duo to get up in your face, after the Tears, Vivid and Shotz might be the best option. They can play fast, and they showed it in this major, and Shotz was the biggest reason for that. He was carrying this team over the entire stage. Like I said, he's making his plays in search. You know he's going to do that. Making the plays in control. The hard point, he was playing well as well. I mean, just all around, Shotz was phenomenal. I think he was probably a top 5 player, very close if not, from the entire stage 4. He was good the entire stage. His team is clearly getting better. It's good for them. Good to see them succeeding back on land, and we'll see where they go from here. But I think whether they trend up or they trend down, Shotz, he's clearly trending up. And if the team's success will follow, it will. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I think if they're going to have success, he will be the biggest reason for it, because he's been phenomenal all season long, and I think he's the #1 player who raised his stock the most at the Stage 4 Major. So that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like down below. Leave a comment as well with your thoughts on this video. Let me know who you think raised their stock the most at the Stage 4 Major, and subscribe to the channel as well if you want to see more videos like this one from me in the future. I appreciate all of that. It does mean a lot to me. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you have a good rest of your day today, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.